introduce, my name is George Hauk, and this presentation was part of the Boy Scouts of America Citizenship in the Community Merit Badge. Currently, I am part of Troop 632, and I attend Clinton Middle School, so I'm not too far-fetched. Who started the Fall Festival that we enjoyed today? Well, in 1974, a woman named Jean McGee organized a street sale that ran down Main Street. Her idea for the street sale was only to improve the town, and I bet she would be proud if she saw what it has become today. Without Jean McGee, we would really have no fall festival that we can enjoy today. Now, some of you may be asking, what happened in the first fall festivals? Well, I can tell you. In the first fall festivals, there was a homecoming dance, which I would have enjoyed. There was a fish fry, which, who doesn't like fish? There was bingo, and personally I do enjoy bingo too. There was an ice cream social, who doesn't like ice cream? And there was a doll raffle. Now these dolls were pretty gigantic. I found pictures of them. Couldn't put them in the presentation, unfortunately, but they were made by a woman named Mrs. Schuler. Who owns the Fall Festival now? It has changed hands a few times. So, Jean McGee started the Fall Festivals, but who owns them now? After Jean McGee, the Chamber of Commerce took over the entire operation and expanded it. And soon enough, there was an organized Fall Festival committee that took up all the operations once again and opened them up again.
My wife and I ran it in '82, but I helped with the group that started it with Jean McGee. And Ellen O'Donnell and Joe O'Donnell were very active in it. There was a big core group, the Nantiles were very active. But it rained for that parade like mad. And of course the last people are always on the bell. We're coming on the road and it's just pouring. You sit there and you'd call for, I need units 11, 12, 13 through 21. And you'd get an answer back, I've got 14 and 70. Nobody else showed up. I mean, it was just awful. Well, coming right through here, we looked at it. Here's Haskell, he owned a show. He's inside. He's dry. Joe O'Donnell said, you know, we can end this real fast. Pulled that bell into the rotary tent. All the people went in the tent, bought the chickens. We sold out the chickens, which was a blessing. We had a politician that year, and he started to give his speech, and some guy said, shut up and draw the ticket. He sat down, we drew the ticket, and went home. We got to go up in a hot air balloon, and that was quite an experience. So. It was a good thing to do, and it's a good thing we got for 14. So.
No, but you know, doing the parade for 6 or 7 years was a lot of fun. But as you know, I mean, it's a lot of work. We would have the parade, and probably 2 months later, we started getting ready for the next parade, sending out letters and seeing who was going to come back and what baton unit didn't want to march behind horse units, and classic cars didn't want to be behind horse units because of, well, you know what it is. Charlie got me involved in the Fall Festival and the parade, and when he decided to hang it up, I took it over. And the bell, does everybody know where the bell came from? I mean,
Yeah.
Joe O'Donnell bought the bell from Adrian when Adrian was going to tear down their courthouse, and he bought the bell and brought it to Clinton, and he owned the bell outside of town, the party store. Well, after we started using it and promoting it and the Clinton bell, guess what? Adrian wanted it back.
They still do.
They still want it, and it's not going anywhere. But some of the things I remember about the parade is, like Charlie said, under his leadership, we got it up to 100. I tried to take it and add a few more, and I was big on trying to get high school bands. I wanted every band in the county. Because where could a high school band come and go for a short walk in the parade and be viewed by tens of thousands of people? And we were able to get a few of the bands would come and show up. Bill Stout, a lot of you remember Bill Stout. Bill was belonged to the Masons here in town, and he came to me, and we had some Masonic units in the parade, but he said, "Would you like more?" Well, what's more? He said, "We can get them all." And so through him and the local lodge, we were able to get all of the Masons units to come to our parade.
But I've been involved with headquarters and then most recently with writing some of the articles for the Fall Festival flyer. And I think I want to allude back to what George said about Gene McGee starting this to bring people to town. I remember in the years I've taught in this community, the number of people who've come to Clinton schools, or back when I did the preschool in town, because they'd come to Fall Festival and thought that must be a really neat community that puts on something like that, and they ended up moving here. I mean, now there's not hundreds of them, obviously, but it did that. I mean, Jean's plan was to bring people to town and make it feel welcoming, and she did, and it's still doing it. Irene Carapaz, because when I was asked to do some of the announcing from headquarters, my son said to me, "Mom, you can't do that. Mrs. Carapaz is the voice of Clinton Fall Festival." Well, and Mrs. Carapaz was not the first one. Before that, Joanne Detling did it. And as Jim said, there wasn't a headquarters for the first probably 15 years or so. And then they used Lancaster Insurance Agency, and Joanne did announcements. Irene thought from the late 80s or early 90s, and then Irene Carapaz took it over probably from 2005 until recently.
View from the village maintenance side. Being with the Village Department of Public Works ever since the festival started in 1974, I've seen all the progressions and changes the operation of the festival. At first we had to make barricades for street closure for the parade, just had booths on Main Street. October 75 started the use of providing extra electrical hookups. September 76 saw the use of flag banner for decorations on Main and Tecumseh Road. Speakers were installed and had over an inch of rain on Sunday. 77 saw more speakers added and the first year of the banner on Main Street. October 7th of 78 was the latest date of the festival. After October 4th of 80, the fest was designated for the last full weekend in September. 79 started the banner put up around Labor Day until use was stopped in 2002 due to street poles reconstructed. 80 was the year started using extra trash cans. 81 started the use of extra electric for booths on Franklin. 83, the installing of electrical setups, banners, and speakers were done on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Tate Park in 1984 started to get some use. Signs and trash cans out on Thursday. Festival cleanup by then took 3 days. Water hookups started to be used in 1985 on Franklin.
Some of these are a pretty good guess, not exact.
Okay. Use of bleachers at Tate Park for activities. Trash totaled 3 loads in our trucks until roll-off dumpsters were put in use by 87. 1986 saw a lot of rain, 2 3/4 Thursday and Friday. First or second year of the softball tournament at the park, more setups and electrical demands. That's in 86. 88, still hanging the banner on Main Street. 50 more trash cans were purchased for the festival and park in 1990. Also made 6 new barricades. 1992 saw installing of temporary sewer lines on Franklin Street. That year, we started the use of 2 lawn and sweeping company to aid in cleanup, which eventually cut our cleanup time down to 2 days and to 1 by 2008. More electrical panels were needed by 1993. 1994 saw installation of removable in-ground information signs around town and incoming roads until about 2005. The addition of a water line to the west side of Burton for food booths came out of the town hall. More trash cans were needed by 1997. Large car show at Tate Park was aided by exiting out Koosmal's Lane onto Matthews Highway.
So they get rid of traffic.
By 2001, setup took 3 days and cleanup 2 days. 2003 saw Main Street construction put a little strain on functions of the festival. Worst rain on the parade came in 2005 when a downpour occurred about 1/3 to 1/2 into the parade, cutting it short. Additional electrical panels were needed by 2007. Cleanup by 2008 was basically down to 1 day with help of some local groups, Little League parents. So, thank you, George, for recounting all of that, and we'll have that as a document. Thank you.
Well, I'm co-chairing with my husband Carl, but he doesn't like to talk, so he's over here.
He's gonna sit and listen.
We co-chaired with Don and Larry Sanborn in 2002. So actually, we've been at this 15 years, but had been involved in festival probably since it started, I would think. We've seen a lot of changes, a lot of growth, a lot of cost to the festival that we have to figure out how to handle the cost. But the 14 years that we've chaired, it seems like it's just flown by. I don't know where time has gone. We had an Abraham Lincoln impersonator from Manchester. And I can still remember him going down the parade route, and he was so presidential, sitting in the horse and buggy cart, pouring down rain, and he never flinched. I can still remember that. So then we did a raffle for a while, and now we do 50-50s, because that's something we can afford. We don't want to lose money. So that's why we don't do car raffles. Our current board members are Carl, Rich Mackey, Kelly Schmidt, Jeff Harrington, Gail Mackey, Carl Habrick, Wes Tapp, John Valenti, and myself. And we've got over 23 committees that work on the festival. A lot of people involved. JD's back there. He's done a ton of work with the festival. Cheryl Bush back here, Jan Wagner have been volunteers on our committees, so.
Calhoun.
Ruth.
No, Vermont.
Harry?
Oh,
Harold?
Maxine. Oh my God,
Maxine.
Maxine Calhoun. She's the one, we would go out to her house and do the flyer. Back in those days, there was no social media, so everything was typed on the old typewriter, corrections made. She'd take it over to the Herald at the printing. I don't know where she ever had it printed, but yeah, Donna got me involved, and Maxine and I spent a lot of time together. Our community has been, and the friends that we've all made, and the good times, and the helicopter rides, and the hot air balloons.
You didn't tell me it was my first with the parade, and he was in Jim Wilson's yard, and if anybody knows Jim Wilson's yard, and it's digging up the yard, the horse is, and the cowboy is just laying on the horse.
well, Jim was probably giving him more beer.
Yeah, I don't know which was worse, and I kept thinking Jim's gonna tell us. We did have we had a tornado warning, and we had to turn the parade back, and it was the first year, I believe it was Van Tiles were in charge. It was right after Miller's, and I think Van Tiles had just taken it on. And Tom calls me on the radio, and I'm down there at the car wash where they turn. And he says, we gotta stop the parade, there's a tornado. And I'm like, how do you stop a parade, and what do I do? So it's Addison's band, and if anybody knows the way that guy struts from Addison's band, and I'm tapping him on the shoulder and going, you have to turn around. And he goes, what? I said, you have to stop the band, and you gotta go that way, there's a tornado warning. Where are we going? I don't know, but you're to go that way. So that, I think, was one of the scariest parts of it. And of course, the beer tent was always the love of my life. That was fun. We've had it all over the town, and I'm glad to see it back. Those ball fields out there, they were paid for with beer. There's no doubt about it. And we made our money that way. And of course, I look around this room, all the people that we've been involved with, and it keeps the community tight. And, you know, I think it's the fun of it, coming together and doing something like this.
So anyway, it goes way back. And then I got involved selling tickets with Joe, O'Donnell, and Ellen. And I just got a lot of good memories, but I'll just say a couple funny stories. It was actually frightening. One year it was Carl and Susie were the chair people, and I don't know if they've had a shout out yet, but they were certainly wonderful chair people, like you guys have certainly been. But I was doing the car tickets, and that was when we sold a lot of tickets, like, you know, 20, 30,000 tickets. And I had to collect them that day and put them in a barrel. And the Shriners used to sell just a boatload of them down there. And it was my responsibility to take a golf cart down there and pick up the Shriners tickets to make sure that they got in the barrel. So it was a beautiful day, and we were successful, and I was riding around with Carl, and it was after the drawing, and the drawing was somebody won local, and everybody was having a great time, and everybody was just taking a big old sigh of relief. And I got to thinking, oh my God, I didn't go down and pick up all the Shriners tickets, because they didn't come down to the drawing. They were still down there, you know.
Right.
Yeah. And then, so we drove all the way down there, and we saw Bill or Shoney or somebody, and I go, and Carl was like, I was just sitting there in a chair, and I was just, I'm so sorry. And, oh no, we took those tickets down there. Yeah.
What is this festival? Well, I've tried to put it in summary, and from the years I remember, it's homecoming, it's a family reunion, it's a church social, it's a small town throwing a big party, and everybody's invited. That's what the Fall Festival is. It's really made up of four things. It's made up of a variety of arts and crafts. It's entertainment and fireworks, parades. It's a wide variety of food, and it's a lost arts demonstration. And in the food, I take this quote here: the Clinton Fall Festival, during festival time, the village is a food lover's haven. You can literally eat your way through the weekend. Food is prepared and served by community groups. Friday is the United Church of Christ fish fry. Sunday is the Clinton Rotary Chicken Barbecue. Saturday, visitors choose to eat the JC's pigs. And dinner can be served from all 6 well-cooked porkers till the bones are bare. And there's beer tent too, if you need to wash it down. And Barb came by and said, Howard,
Couldn't say no.
it's the job. The Van Tiles have to find 2 chairmen for 78. And since I came to town,
Couldn't say no.
I never say no to this community because you paid my salary for 15 years. So anytime you ask me to do something, I do it.